Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the H Town Heel Show, where we have another series recap that we unfortunately have to talk about right now. As the road trip from hell finally comes to an end, you are swept by the Seattle Mariners. You're coming back to Houston, demoralized, injured, don't know where the heck you're going. One and nine on the road trip. 1-9. What is winning, heel? Do you know what that is? I don't know what that is anymore.
No, I don't know.
Man, first game, Astros lose 6-9. Tatsuya Mai is making a start, and he can't even make it out of the first inning. He gets one out. Wild pitch, a hit, just so many walks, and he gets yanked and just creates just another series where your bullpen is going to be drained. And it's the staff just refuses to throw strikes and refuses to just pitch anywhere near the zone. And I can't even entirely blame the bullpen because your starters are not going deep in the games. They just aren't.
Yeah, and the irony is I was excited about this game because for people that don't know, I'm a big fan of the MPB. So obviously I'm going to be a fan of it. Even my and this is also my first live stream. So I was like, let's go. My first live stream is it's against the Mariners. I'm expecting at least a good game, at least a competitive good game. Maybe the first stream is a W. And I'm just so excited. I couldn't be so excited to live stream. And next thing you know, Amaya gets basically pulled. And I'm just like, oh no. Oh no. Like why? Why did he get pulled?
And we would later learn that besides him being terrible, is that he apparently is dealing with arm fatigue, which is another new term that the Astros want to come up with, medical staff wants to come up with. And he is going to the 10-day IL. Another pitcher, Christian Javier, Hunter Brown, and now Tatsuya Imai. Your your number one, your number two, and your number three starter this year. Well, actually, no, Burrows, your number one, your number three, and your number four. Burrows is your number two. But three of your top five pitchers are out. And it's not even we're not even 3 weeks in, and it's just so demoralizing. And then it's based on some other reports. Just before we started filming, it came out that Tatsuya Imai has very much struggled adapting to an American lifestyle on the field and off the field. And of course, I do feel bad for him because it's not always super easy to fit in right away. Kind of get your footing down. He's struggling with the weather, the balls don't grip the same, the mounds aren't as soft as they are in the MPB, But a lot of people are just going to, call that excuses, when I first heard it, I'm like, man, there's so many excuses, but Yamamoto wasn't perfect when he came over, Sasaki still wasn't perfect when he came over, it's an adjusting period and I still believe in him. We've seen what he can do. We've seen he's a very capable pitcher and he's just got to get adjusted. Unfortunately, he's on the IL right now, but I feel like it'll come sooner rather than later once he gets back healthy.
You can only hope and but I am like at my like wits ends with this team because and I actually shouldn't even say this team. I should say this pitching staff
The pit, yeah,
because like the offense, oh my goodness, they have been literally like having an all-star team for the most part. Uh, and anyone who says like oh, we should trade this guy minus Yanir on the offensive side or whatever. They don't know what they're talking about because every single guy has been putting in their part. Bryce Matthews, he's learning the outfield, and on top of that, he's still doing his part as basically now a super utility player. Along with Isaac Paredes, who's, I mean, they need one better utility player than Isaac Paredes right now. Um, and plus the offensive bats that we have up and down the lineup, that our lineup is literally dangerous. And no, we need to stop the trade Isaac Paredes things because he's not going anywhere. Like I want him to stay an Astro for as long as he wants.
He's not
Uh,
going. He's not going anywhere now because Jeremy Pena is going to the 15-day IL with a groin strain.
yeah, that's another thing. And I just want the pitching to come back and come out better than ever, and let's get on a roll. But I know that right now is a lot to ask.
It's a lot to ask right now. And then, kind of the Astros immediately, even though they get lit up first for 3 runs in the first inning, they load the bases, and Christian Walker hits a bases clearing double. I remember seeing your clip of that, and yeah, Christian Walker, not Christian, Christian Vasquez has just been really everything and more that you could have asked for in a backup catcher. He's helping, he's that veteran presence you need, and he's producing at the plate very, very well. I don't know how sustainable it is that he's going to have a 300 plus batting average and a 900 plus OPS for the entire season, but I'm just riding the hot hand while I can. He is in the lineup tonight versus the Rockies for the this opener, but he had a really great game today. He had 2 hits with 3 RBIs, and then immediately did not play the rest of the series. Benched for 3 straight games.
You know what? It would be funny if like us winning was simply like you didn't play Vasquez like thing. You know?
It will signs to tell, and I mean, some people are gonna get mad at Joe Espada for the bullpen management. I mean, I'm a little mad about that too because people said, he's leaving guys in there way too long. Well, he's trying to get like an extra inning out of some people when they don't need to be, and that's how it led to run scoring. But how can you manage this bullpen with the way they've had to have been used, going this excess amount of innings, way more than what they're used to. So, yes, some of it is on Joe, but most of it's, in my opinion, is probably just on execution. Like you can't throw strikes. We're walking batters, we're hitting batters at an alarming rate.
Yeah, listen, I'm a victim of it too. Like there are some times where I just want to blame Joe, especially in the moment. But when you actually think about it, it is hard to blame Joe when your pitching and bullpen can't even find a rhythm and tell you like, okay, this is when it's okay to use this guy. This is when it's okay to use this guy. His his bullpen's not even giving him a chance to even think. And right now, the only reliable guy that we know for sure that he has is fucking Tang. And sorry for the cursing, but he deserves it.
Highway
Yeah.
Tang,
Yeah.
Highway Tang, Stephen Okert, and Brian King have probably been your 3 most reliable relievers to this point.
Yeah.
And then Ryan Weiss, he comes in. Like I said, Ryan Weiss, he looked good for 2 innings, and then tried to get some more out of him. Randy Rosarena crushes a homer. Then put in JP France. JP France looks good for about an inning and third. Leave him in too long. Dominic Canzone, it's a double. You know, and then he just has to, like, you have to leave JP France out there, or else your high leverage guys are gonna die. Jordan Alvarez, he's Jordan Alvarez. He hits a home run. What's new? And the final score of game 1 is 6-9.
Yeah, and actually that hit by Calenzone, it was just a good hit. It was really at the bottom of the zone, well located pitch. Um, Sometimes I can be like, that's just a bad pitch. In this case, it was just a good hit by the hitter. I mean, there's something you could do in that pitch. Um, yeah, like, and I just felt bad for France. Now, don't get me wrong. Obviously, I would. France is one that gave up the home run to a Rose correct?
That was Weiss.
Yeah, Weiss. And I know I had trouble pronouncing his name in the stream. I was like, he he did really bad. And when Rose hit the home run, I remember just like staring blankly at it, like, of
I
course.
had I had work the next morning. I just turned it off and went to sleep.
Yeah.
I can't with these West Coast games. I never want to go back to the West Coast, but we will.
Yeah, it's coming.
Game two of this series, and I'm sorry for the low energy. It's just like it's so hard to talk about your team when they're in just this such a bad rut and wasting such a good offense. It feels like the Texans. The Texans wasted such an elite defense with lackluster offensive performance. And it's like one way or the other with Houston sports. Good offense, bad defense, good offense.
Now, oh, I would like to do the intro for this game for because this game actually I'm surprised that I don't rant more, and a big part of it right now is because my family is like, in the other room and all that. But if they weren't here, I probably would have full on just exploded and been like, this whole team just needs to, because we had a great start to this game. I
Yeah,
think, at one point led like 6-1, 6 something, something like that, whatever. Whatever. The lead wasn't.
we had a 7-2 lead going into the fifth.
I was literally happy. I was like, let's go. We're back. All the things you would say. And oh my God, I was just like, I forgot what inning it was, but I was like, they're coming back. They're coming back. I know it. Get ready.
Fifth
It's
inning is
coming.
when they started to come back.
Yup. I was like, it's coming. I literally went from being so happy because I was just like, everything's going so right, everything's feeling so good. And I even was telling people in the stream, I was like, there's nothing to complain about. I'm like, that's why I'm not like, talking as much really. And I apologize for that. But then the Astros said, you know what? Let's give him something to talk about. And I was just like, what?
No lead is safe with this team.
Exactly.
I did not watch this game, so because I was very mad and I had work another early morning shift, and with these 10 o'clock start times, it's just very tough. So, um, yeah, I can't really say much other than watching highlights in the box score, but Lance, he looked okay, but then had to get come out. His runs did score; they counted as earned runs. Tang King did really good. Cam Smith had a really good series. He was hitting the ball hard, playing great defense, and he just looks like he's just continuing to just blossom right before our eyes. And
Yeah.
I mean, really, really solid for him.
Yeah, I remember I literally pretty much yelled as loud as I could, without waking up, my family. I literally pointed at the screen, as if I was pointing at the mirror. I was like, "Get tamed," you know. Yeah.
The Astros, how do you lose a game where you have 17 hits and the opposing team had 10 less hits than you and you lose? You want to know why? You walked too many of the bottom hole hitters. When you're walking the 7, 8, 9 guys for the top of the lineup, you're asking to lose. You're just asking to lose. And granted I didn't watch it, but seeing just the stats of how many of the 7, 8, 9 guys got on, absolutely unacceptable.
And I guess I was feeling a little bit of what Mai was feeling, but instead of arm fatigue, when the Mariners started to come back, I was feeling mental fatigue because I was just like, it's the same freaking story with this bullpen. And don't tell me, but this is the game where JP Crawford walked it off, isn't it?
It is the game where JP Crawford walked it off. Brian Abreu, 3 walks, 1 strikeout, 1 earned run. And this he his season, you couldn't have asked for a worse start for him to start off the season. It's just he can't throw strikes. Anything he throws in the zone is getting hit. And he did have a clean inning on the third game. He did have a scoreless inning. Maybe that's something he can work off of, but he has just not looked good. And I mean, we've talked about it before. The Astros just need to take him out of the closer role. He needs to get some reps and lower leverage. And yeah, that's just how we got to go from there.
Does he have any options? Maybe you should send him to Sugarland for a little bit, and maybe he can find it again. I don't know.
I don't know either at this point what's going to take it for him to get going.
And you know what's funny? I wasn't even surprised when Crawford walked it off. This was literally me in my chair, pride aside. I was like, he's gonna walk it off, isn't he? He's gonna walk it off. And next, pitch basically right down the middle. He hits it hard. And I was like, I just sat here quiet. Yep, he did it. Um,
That's how I was during the athletics game where Brent Rooker walked it off. He spiked the ball. He spiked the
yeah,
ball in the dirt and allowed the runner to move to third. And I'm like, yeah, we're losing this.
yeah, because like, it's all I knew is I had to move on with life. I just basically just did this in the stream. All right, thank you for watching. You know, got out of there and went straight to my next thing.
And basically, after this game, when you knew you're fighting for a split, I'm just like, this team isn't gonna do it. I was
Oh,
so done,
they weren't going to do it, and for people
and
wondering
they
why,
didn't.
if you're for people wondering why I didn't bother streaming the next two games, have you never seen Kirby or Gilbert pitch?
They're
Like,
nasty.
yeah,
They own us, Kirby and Gilbert.
but just in general, they're fantastic pitchers. If you didn't find like I said at the beginning, if you didn't find a way to get to Hancock, and I forgot who the other guy was, but to them two,
Emerson.
yeah, if you didn't find a way to get to those two guys at the beginning of the series, then
I mean, they
yeah,
kind of did a little. They scored 6 runs, then 7 runs, 6-7. But
yeah,
you know,
yeah, yeah, they did, but like we said, the pitching didn't hold up. Then obviously Gilbert and Kirby are just gonna shut you down.
and then for this game, game three, you have Cody Bolton start this game, and he only lasts 1 inning, and we're like, what is going on? What did we do to deserve this? Yeah, Cody Bolton wasn't in the plans at all for this year, but when you have another starter that only goes 1 inning and gets pulled because of being bad or an injury, at this bullpen, you just have to be. I feel like if you're an Astros bullpen pitcher, you have to like be already loose when you walk to the bullpen in the first inning.
Don't you think it should motivate you if you're in the pen to be like, okay, now I got to be Nils because if I'm Nils and I I prove to them I'm good outing after outing, I could probably continuously get a job and maybe get a really big contract next year or something like that. Because like if
That's
any
what Kyle Tang's trying to do.
yeah, because if anything, this is your chance to prove why you belong in the big leagues. Because like if you're not an established big leaguer, you're I mean, I'm trying to say it without saying what I want to say. Basically, your butt is on the chopping block to go to the minors.
Or get DFA'd.
Yeah. Uh,
Um, Jaden Murray, Christian Roa, they came in. They each went two around 2 innings. Both gave up 2 earned runs, and then Murray was called up. I forgot to say, JP France was sent down for Jane Murray to kind of get that fresh arm, even though he only was still allowed 2 runs. And then JP France would be up. That's crazy that he got sent down and then got called up in the same series.
I know. Uh,
This is gonna be a revolving door until this pitching gets figured out.
imagine like you're trying to get on the plane and all of a sudden you just get the call at like in the morning while you're grabbing your coffee. So we decided you're staying. Okay. Like whatever.
No, imagine getting sent down. I really hope that he didn't go all the way back to Houston or wherever the Space Cowboys were playing,
Yeah.
and then like the next day it's like, oh, you got to get on another flight, the next direct flight to Seattle, and
Yeah.
you're pitching the next game.
Because like at that point you're pitching on so much fatigue, mental fatigue, as I was watching the game.
And De Los Santos, he's continued to look good coming back from his injury. Bennett Sousa should be back soon. So having guys like De Los Santos and Sousa back in the back end of your bullpen, that's going to be really big. And if they continue to produce, it's going to be good. And then Brian Abreu had his first no-run inning of the year. And we're like, we just praise your Lord and Savior, whoever you worship,
Yeah.
just he got a clean inning. Well, he still walked someone, but he didn't allow a run.
No.
We start some baby
Yeah.
steps, Seal, baby
Baby
steps.
steps. We don't get picky. We just appreciate what we get from the pitching.
We'll take whatever we can get at this point, man. We're
Yeah.
desperate.
Yeah, exactly.
Offense, it's baseball. You're not going to score 7 runs every game. You're going to have 1, 2, 3 run games. Altuve, he had 3 hits. Paredes had a hit. Yainer Diaz had a solo home run. And if anyone was watching the game and they showed the Yainer Diaz home run, they cut to the dugout. They were so dead. There was no reaction to his home run at all. And that's pretty much the Astros fan base as a whole.
Yeah. Like, and again, I'm literally calling him the Chris Paul of the Astros because he always does this stuff when it doesn't matter.
Oh my God, Chris Paul. Yep. So Astros, and at this point, you lose the series. As you go into the last game, you have Mike Burrows, who is you, your best pitcher currently available, and you're just hoping he goes 5 or 6 innings. I was like, if you pitch 5 or 6 innings and we lose, I'll take that because I didn't expect them to win, and I'm just like, you just need to go 6 innings, 100 pitches. I do not care if we win or lose.
And actually, one of the smartest things, and this actually came from Dusty Baker, and granted, this was in the World Series, not a regular season game, but still, at this point, Joe Espada might need to debate doing this a few times in the year. If you know you're gonna get your butt kicked, you may as well just continuously let him pitch, because like you need to save that bullpen. Because some of the pitchers might not even be bad. Some of them might just be fatigued, as can be.
Yeah, it's when you're pitching this many innings and having to basically do spot starts out of the bullpen, it's not going to end well. And lo and behold, going into the last game, Mike Burrows threw 6 innings. The first Astros pitcher to do that in like millennia at this point in the season. And lo and behold, he allowed 6 runs. Josh Naylor had his number today. 2 home runs, 5 runs that Naylor had ended up to get, and then just a pretty broken bat single by Luke Raley. There was a play in the game where Mike Burrows like didn't run fast enough to cover the bag on a ground ball, which led to an extra run scoring on one of those home runs. And that was like, dude, we're pitching for our lives right now, and you like don't cover first base. Like, what are you doing, bro? Like, come on.
Yeah, and I also feel sorry for the defense because like obviously it's hard to make plays when every ball is being fired at you at like 100 miles per hour, 114, 107. It's like these pitchers are. It's not like our pitchers are just getting unlucky, and it's like bloops, and maybe like 90 off the bat or whatever. It's like these are lasers.
Yeah, Mike Burrows has had an issue with soft contact, but when he's the lefties have been hitting him very well, to say the least. And Mike Burrows, he has the stuff. He showed it in spring. We know what he can be. He just needs to, like with most pitchers, they just need to get it under control. The one thing is that he went 6 innings, and that's important. JP France came in after him after being sent down and called back up, and he threw 2 scoreless innings, 2 really good scoreless innings, and pretty much saved the bullpen for the Colorado series. That's really all you could have asked for.
Yeah. Uh, I will say this, and I think it's good to, especially to go into the Rocky series, to talk about some positives. Um, Cam Smith and Jordan, the MVPs of this series. Would you agree?
Yeah, I would say this was Cam Smith's like kind of little mini breakouts. Cam Smith has been really good this entire road trip. Really,
Yeah, for sure. And then Jordan's, I mean, he's just gonna tear you apart if you leave him one to hit.
Jordan continues to be great.
Yeah. And Christian Walker, he's still on his revenge tour. Like,
He
cause
did. He didn't have the best of series
yeah,
against the Mariners. He had to sit out one game because he tweaked something. I'm not sure if that's still bothering him because he didn't do. He hasn't been that great this series. So we'll see if he's better at this in against the Rockies. We'll see.
for sure. Um, I just, uh, I just want to try to get some positivity out there, and maybe,
Yeah,
some good things for happening.
the offense is good. That's
Yeah.
you know
Steven Okra did what he can do. I'll even mention some pictures out there. Kaiwei Tang continues to be absolute chef's kiss. I mean, I what do you know what his ERA is?
I believe I have it right here. Well, he hasn't pitched in 2 days, so his ERA is in the low twos.
Okay, we'll
If you,
take
if
it.
you, if you're just talking about best overall reliever so far,
Hmm.
it's Brian King. He's
Brian
been
King. Yeah, I will admit we don't talk about him enough.
he just goes out there and does his job, so he kind of
Yeah,
gets lost in there. We're talking about all this bad stuff, and then you see, oh, Brian King went in there and threw a scoreless inning with like 2 strikeouts.
yeah, and that's why I wanted to take a minute to appreciate the good things that are happening because like there are a few things like Brian King that probably get lost in the shuffle. Um, and also for more positive things, let's do this tonight. Eat, sleep, and then today break that losing streak.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's just and before we head off, we're kind of give you guys an injury update. Hunter Brown, 15-day IL. Christian Javier, 15-day IL. Tatsuya Imai, 10-day IL. He just got imaging back today, and those images were clear. So they are just. I'm pretty sure he's probably going to skip a start. Um, Probably. I don't know if he'll send him on a rehab start to AAA, but I don't. It's not anything like structural. His arm is just tired, But um, who else? Jeremy Pena, 15-day IL. Um, Hater. Oh, and
Oh,
Hater.
yeah, hater.
Hater. He threw a bullpen today. He was in the low 90s, 91, 93 area. So he's throwing to live batters now as he continues to ramp up for his return. And Bennett Sousa is still on his rehab stint with the Space Cowboys. We should be getting him back sooner rather than later. And what else was I going to say? What else was I going to say? Oh, like you said earlier, good thing we didn't trade Isak Paredes. We knew one of these infielders was going to go down sooner rather than later.
Yeah, I'm not trying to look at this as a negative thing, but of course, I saw on Twitter that because an Astros fan couldn't help but be like, look at Mauricio Dubon. We should have never traded him. I'm like, yeah, but trading him makes sense for the long run. Because like, let's say you do have a bad season, or even if you just want to have extra money for like this off season, then you're gonna have that money. And Dubon obviously isn't gonna hold this up for the entire year. I'll be surprised if he does.
And more news is that Colton Gordon will make the start tonight. He's making his first start of the year in the majors. Spencer Arrighetti is on the taxi squad, so he's going to be in the dugout. Yeah, he's not on the roster yet, but he is definitely going to pitch one of these games for the Astros. And Brandon Belak, if any of you Astros ball knowers know who Brandon Belak is, he's back on the team. It's a minor league deal, but Brandon Belak was basically the guy in like the 2022-2023 season who you would call upon to just go out there and eat innings. Like if your pitcher was having a bad game, oh, send out Brandon Belak. He's going to give you 4 innings. We don't care how many runs he scores, but he's going to go out there and save the bullpen for a day.
Wait, didn't Javier get injured too?
Yeah, I said Javier.
Oh, okay. I was just sorry. There's
Yeah,
so much injuries.
so many to count.
Yeah.
But Brandon Belak is back on the Astros, and we will probably see him at some point this year.
Uh, yeah. And to be honest with you, we need some of those like almost like long starters, especially if the starters themselves are not going to go more than well 1 inning or two.
Excuse me, but this team has me tired mentally and physically.
Yeah. Well, this series will be a nice one to pick it back up, and that's what I'm hoping for. And you guys know my motto going into this series already. I won't repeat it, I promise.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
The motto just win. Like we said last time, just win. You're back at home. Your bullpen, JP France gave the bullpen a rest. Rocky's revenge series. We need to win. We need to get. If you have one good series, the AL has been very much underperforming this year. If you have one good series, you're already back in it. You know.
Right. And you're the team to do it. And the Rockies are always going to be your little brother. So you got to look at them that way.
All right. So first game is tonight. It'll be Colton Gordon pitching for the Astros versus Michael Lorenzen, I believe. And we just got to go out there. We've seen him. We probably have a better scouting report on him. Go out there and win, man. Colton Gordon, do your thing.
Good thing we have Omar Lopez as backup, just in case.
Just in case. We don't want to talk about that yet, but just in
Yeah,
case.
we don't, but just in case. It's nice to have backups.
All right. Once again, thank you guys for listening. Turn on subscribe, turn on the notification so you never miss an upload from us. And maybe he'll stream a couple games. Maybe I'll join him. But we're always going to try and stay positive and go Astros, man. Go out and win. Get this season, break the streak. Just go out there and win, man. See ya.